Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's another Open the Box, but once again we're going back in time to another game that some say is a classic. It is Tokyo Express, the Guadalcanal Naval Campaign 1942, the new Solitaire game system. And this is from Victory Games 1988. So what's this about? Briefing: 7th of August 1942, US Marines land on Guadalcanal to recapture the island from the Japanese. To support the raging land battle, the Imperial Navy sends in fast destroyers with reinforcements and supplies, while heavier ships bombard the marine positions. Nicknamed the Tokyo Express, these night naval runs result in 5 major surface actions between August and November. So many ships are sunk here that the waters acquire the name Iron Bottom Sound. Tokyo Express is a solitaire and 2-player simulation of the night naval battles of Guadalcanal. In the solitaire version, you command the US fleet, awaiting the emergence of the Tokyo Express from the darkness. You group your ships into formations, assigning them orders, and select the targets to attack with torpedoes and guns. Simple mechanisms control Japanese maneuvers and target assignments in a realistic manner. You never know when combat will occur until the explosion of torpedo salvos signals the presence of Japanese forces who detected you first and made their surprise attacks. The 2-player version modifies the solitaire game and pits players against each other in an exciting recreation of World War II naval combat. Tokyo Express is graduated in complexity to help you learn the rules as you play. You will learn the systems for the basic game, the standard game, advanced game, and the 2-player game down the bottom there. So, here's the map, some of the counters, and what do we get in this game? We get 156 ship counters, 520 information markers, 122 by 32 map sheet, 1 basic rule booklet, 1 standard rules booklet, 120 gunnery cards, 1 11x16 battle movement display, 10 charts and tables cards, 2 ship log roster pads, 1 10-sided die, I think that's long gone, and 1 counter storage tray. Complexity ranges from low to very high. Solitaire suitability is of course very high. Time scale 10 minutes per game turn, map scale 1500 yards per hex, unit scale individual ships, players 1 for the solitaire version or 2, playing time from 1 hour for the basic scenario to 3 to 6 hours in a standard scenario. Right. This game, incidentally, is unpunched. Chap said the original gunnery cards were missing, but replacements have been made, so we'll see what that's all about. So, let's open the box. First thing we see is the basic game book. And this is 24 pages with design notes on the back. So, quite a complex game, I understand. How to read the rules. First, read sections 1.0 and 2.0 of the standard rule book to understand the main concepts of the game. Then return to this booklet and read section 3.0 for the basic game rules. And play the basic game scenario until you feel comfortable with the game mechanics and formation, movement and combat. And then you go back to the standard rules. Right. So, basic game rules, sequence of play. These are all in black and white, of course, the pictures. Action chits, formations, formation markers, US formation groupings, differences between Japanese and US formations, yeah, movement orders, crikey, US freedom of action, some more movement rules, even more movement rules, entering an occupied hex, combat, torpedo combat, and these are just the basic rules. Effects of torpedo combat, gunnery combat, damage, and the basic scenario and the victory conditions. Situation analysis, this is all the sort of background information, which is always welcomed. The campaign in outline, your ship roster, and design notes, and some bibliography on the back there. Crikey, those are the basic rules. Next, we've got the standard game book, and this is a thick old beast, and comes in, if I can, 63 pages with the index on the back. Right. So it starts off with getting started. So yes, telling you to read the basic rules, game equipment and concepts, charts and tables, playing pieces, hidden forces, oh, good grief, game abbreviations, game concepts. Stop here. You're now ready to learn the basic game rules. So you have to read the first sort of 9 pages and then go back to the basic game rules. And here are the standard game rules with a sequence of play, detection and combat segments, formations, orders and movement. Crikey, I won't go through it in detail, there's tons of it. Standard combat, gunnery combat, hidden force gunnery, US radar directed gunnery, lots of gunnery stuff, hidden forces, standard combat, gunnery combat, hidden force gunnery, Japanese gunnery allocation, US radar directed gunnery, torpedoes, surprise torpedo attacks, whoops, retirement and withdrawal, my goodness, US admirals, torpedo combat, it's very dense, 2-column, typical sort of older game looking rules. Retirement and withdrawal. Hypothetical scenarios. So there we are, some what ifs. Additional Japanese missions, optional, right. Advanced game rules, random events, hidden forces random events. Random event summary, Japanese admirals, and then there's optional rules. Elimination secondary battles, and the 2-player game rules. There we are, and an index on the back. Crikey, them's the rules. Next, we've got the gunnery cards. Now, these were the ones he said were missing, and they have reprinted them. They're all there. He said they were printed at the same size and on the same sort of card stock. So, whoops, there we are. Here's for the light guns. So I'm not sure what this means at all at the moment. So we've got a pack or a deck of light gun combat deck, gunnery combat deck. We've got a gunnery combat deck for light cruisers, 30 of those. One for the heavy cruiser, armoured. And one for the battleships. Next, counters. As I say, this is an unpunched copy. Got to be careful though, because they are popping out. And by the way, I don't mind that these are reprinted because I'm not collecting the game, I'm playing it, so it doesn't bother me too much. They're all there and they're printed nicely. So here's the first counter sheet. And this says here United States Historical. And United States Ahistorical. So here are the Japanese Historical and the Ahistorical. Hope you can see those. Not bad looking counters for the age, I don't think. And on the other side, oh, does that mean they fired or they've been damaged? We shall find out. That's the first one. Second one, whoa, careful. Yeah, they're coming out. US markers. Target markers. Force size markers. And neutral markers. Not a bad thickness, but very small. And the last sheet. Some more neutral markers up the top there, it says. Compass markers. Action chits. Damage markers by the look of it. There we go. Next are the charts. I think it said 10. And this game obviously hasn't been played because they're still in the pad. They've not been taken out. So we've got number 1. Is the torpedo count, or torpedo combat summary and combat table. 2 is formations and movement. My goodness, let's put them down there. What's this? Japanese formations and movement. Very small writing. Lots of information on there. Number 3 is detection table. Oh, and on the back we've got hidden forces. Number 4, torpedo combat. On the back of that, surprise torpedo attacks. It's bonkers. Gunnery combat. Combat sequences and damage. Scenario generation charts and tables. Yeah, I think you can make your own scenarios. Random events. And ship availability charts. Wow. Some more there. Standard sequence of play track. Two-player game information. Yeah, I was lucky to find this. This is quite a, not impossible game to find, but quite a difficult game to find, and can be quite pricey. US hidden force display. Ooh. US ship availability chart. And the last one. What's this? Oh, Japanese, oops, keep knocking the camera. Japanese hidden force display. And on the back, Japanese ship availability chart. Right. Next is one of these. Do a friend a favour. And then we've got a thing called the battle movement display. Look at those for colours. Next, a pad of Japanese ship log roster. Again, these are, it's not been used. And on the other side, oh crikey, what's this? Japanese player record sheet for the two-player game. These, of course, we can photocopy. Another pad, I assume. For the Americans, yes, United States ship log roster. And on the other side is their record sheet for the two-player game. Here's the map, which we'll get out in a moment. And last but not least, we have in here a counter tray. So, lots in there. Also, I received PDFs of some of the articles in the general pertaining to Tokyo Express. So we've got one called Riding the Express, an introduction to Tokyo Express. We got this one, Campaign Tokyo Express, in the slot for the duration. And this, Iron Bottom Sound, Advanced Campaign Rules for Tokyo Express. Right, tell you what, let's get the map out. So here's the map, the condition of which looks like I bought this yesterday. Pristine. Some people don't like the map because of the colours, but it is night time, remember. So, not knowing anything about this game yet, we seem to have sort of sections. Here is Iron Bottom Sound. Oh, there's the slot up the top there that one of those PDFs were talking about. Zone 10, Zone 11, and the other zones here, Japanese Deployment Zone, Supply Zone. Here's Guadalcanal, Savo Island. Up here's a terrain key. And up the top in the left, it says there, a sample ship counter. We'll have a quick look close up. So here we are. Here's Savo Island. And over here we've got these must be directional indicators. Not much variation in the map, it's all sea. But up here, there's the sample ship counter. And the Japanese flags there, I assume that's where the Japanese come in. Here's the terrain key. Japanese deployment zones. And down here, is that a turn track? I don't know. Yes, game turn track. Guadalcanal itself. And the famous Iron Bottom sound. So, that's the map. So this has been an open the box of the classic game Tokyo Express, the Guadalcanal Naval Campaign 1942, published by Victory Games in 1988. There's a lot in the box, and I'm pleased to have got a hold of it, and in such good condition. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have, and you haven't done so already, it'd be great if you would consider subscribing. It does help the channel no end at all. Push the like button of the video and the bell. That tells you when I upload other stuff. Leave a comment and share. And as always, a big thank you to my subscribers. Thank you very much. And just to remind you, if you want to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can by buying me a coffee. Doesn't cost much. And all those coffees help the channel to keep uploading new content. If that's of interest, there's a link in the description, and thank you. So, until next time, as always, you take care and goodbye.